I still can't believe the IS-7 incident was Gregory's last case, or that it's been 18 long years since. A murder at a confectionery contest, and of one of the participants no less, Artie Frost. They pulled his body out of a treasure chest that was a part of Samson Tangaroa's chocolate tableau. He'd been hit in the head with a large rock salt lamp, and subsequently bled to death. We found the lamp hidden inside the candy castle Delicia Scone had made for the contest. But then, before anyone had the chance to investigate Mr. Frost's own room, all of his icy creations had melted clean away. December 24th, 9:05 p.m. Contest venue, Fountain Room. All of Mr. Frost's work destroyed. Mr. von Karma wasn't very happy. He told us to get out, and in no uncertain terms.
So what do we do now, Mr. E? I can't believe he just up and kicked us out. Von Karma's a total jerk.
Now, Eddie. It was always the job of the police and the prosecutor's office to investigate the scene.
Yeah, but he didn't have to talk to us like that. Who cares if we're cops or attorneys? We should all be working together to find the truth.
You can't assume that everybody's aims are the same as your own. You may wish to expose the truth, but others might prefer to accept things at face value. Which way of thinking is right will depend on the person.
But what if somebody innocent ends up behind bars because no one managed to uncover the truth?
It can happen. We're all human. Police and prosecutors indeed. Which is why defense attorneys exist. Our job is to help people in just such situations. To be friends to the friendless.
Friends to the friendless?
Now, we may not be able to investigate the Winter Wing as hoped, but that doesn't mean we give up.
You're right, Mr. E. I'm sorry. I should have thought more before I opened my big mouth.
You're young, Eddie. You'll learn soon enough.
I will. I promise.
Mr. Edgeworth, Mr. Fender, you look like you could use a little pick-me-up. I'm afraid this is all I have, but please, by all means.
Whoa, you're the best, Miss Bound.
Thank you. A little sugar boost might actually help, although these are a little too sweet for my liking, and a little uniquely shaped.
I'm sorry if they're not to your taste.
No way! You're great! You're so sweet!
You're very kind. Imagine, me of all people, a mediocre confectioner.
What? You mean you made these yourself?
Yes. Samson loves chocolate, so I had to learn. Keeping him supplied with his favorite treats is just one of my many duties. Although he does spend most of the time coaching me on how to improve my technique.
Mr. Tangaroa sure is a lucky guy. Getting to eat homemade sweets made by the one and only Judy Bound whenever he wants sounds amazing.
I'm sorry, did you say something?
Nope, nothing at all.
Dear, sweet Eddie, you really do still have a lot to learn. It seems you're quite committed to the work you do for Mr. Tangaroa, Miss Bound.
Of course. What right would I have to stay here otherwise?
What do you mean by that?
I was abandoned as a baby, and Mr. Tangaroa took me in. That's right. One snowy Christmas Eve many years ago, he found me on the steps of this very mansion. He saved my life, and became the father I never had. I can never repay him, so my work for him is the least I can do, and I'll be here for him for as long as he needs me.
That's the most beautiful thing I've ever heard.
I must be getting old. I'm welling up a little myself.
And to think today is Christmas Eve, and I can't even give him his present in person. I'd do anything to save him. Anything. Please, if there's something I can do to help, just say it.
We're very grateful, Miss Bound. Perhaps you could help us by answering a question. Did you know the victim?
Not very well, I'm afraid. Oh, but if you wanted to see some of his work, I have a picture of the sculptures he made for the final.
My. They're stunning.
Aren't they? I think they're masterpieces. Who would have thought you could make such intricate statues out of flavored ice? Samson adored them too.
Oh, hey! That's Taurus and Gemini, right?
I didn't know you were keen on constellations in the zodiac.
Oh, I love it. The stories those stars can tell. Take Gemini, for example. See the lyre? That's what the harp is called. And the arrow and the... Hold up. The lyre doesn't have any strings. Huh? Did Mr. Frost forget to add them, maybe?
That doesn't sound like something he'd forget to do.
Wait, really? I thought you just said you didn't know him very well.
Oh, well, he didn't seem like the type.
It seems she's got something to hide, too. You took this photograph yourself, Miss Bound?
Yes, I used this instant camera here. It develops the pictures as soon as you take them. It's so useful.
Ooh, I love to see it in action.
Then why don't I take your picture?
Yes! Come on, Mr. E. Let's get a shot of the both of us.
Well, alright then. It would be a shame to waste a good hair day.
Ready? Say cheese! There, all done. And the picture's yours to keep, Mr. Fender.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much. That's such a cool camera.
Well, it's the only one we've got, so we use it for all our picture-taking needs. It's very convenient, but the lack of negatives is something of a shame.
So there aren't any negatives for us to reference, huh? I assume Mr. Tangaroa used the same camera during the contest?
Yes, you assume correctly. He used it for some work-in-progress pictures of his seascape, and later to take some photos of the other contestants' works.
But didn't you take a picture of the body when you discovered it? And didn't you discover the body while the judging was still underway?
Ah, yes. Samson wanted pictures of all the entrance-completed rooms, but the film ran out just as he finished photographing Mr. Gusto's work. So he asked me to go put in a new cartridge. He seemed to think there should have been more shots left than there were.
In other words, the film ran out sooner than expected?
Yes. The number of shots he took didn't line up with the number of shots remaining. But he thought maybe he just lost track somewhere along the way.
But had he really, though?
I went to our living area to change the film and was passing through the fountain room on my way back when I heard the sound of something break and collapse in Samson's room. Samson? Are you in here? Ah! Mr. Frost's body was just lying there. I was in total shock. It was all too much. But I remember I called the police, and then I went to tell everybody else. And the camera, it's been with me ever since.
I see. I'd be grateful if you could lend us the camera in this picture, Miss Bound.
Of course. Here you go.
Thank you.
We get both the instant camera and the photo of Mr. Frost added to the court record. Detective Bat! Miss Scone! Are they done investigating?
They're done with me, that's for certain. The big meanie told me to clear off. Honestly, that mannequins will be the end of me. The cheek of him!
Guess he got tired of people cluttering up his crime scene.
Did he run you off too, Detective Bad?
Yeah, Von Karma seems to think I'm a nuisance. Can't do things his way with me around. Why would Mr. Von Karma go so far as to exclude his own lead detective? Still, got a pretty good look at the scene. As for Gusto, he's enjoying a nice little chat right now in Frost's room.
What about
the fact that Miss Bound said she saw him going in there during the contest? Mr. Gusto went into Mr. Frost's room?
That's right. And I have to say, he looked very much like he didn't want to be seen. I don't know what he could have been up to.
Well, he's candidate number 1 at the moment, as the guy who melted Frost's work. But is that really why Mr. Gusto went into Mr. Frost's room? Got a photo of the room right here, if you need it. It's all yours.
Wait, what? Why would you just give it to us?
Do I gotta spell it out for you, kid? I'm offering to help you guys. I want the truth about this case to come out. Detective.
Really, Detective Pat? Mr. von Karma won't be happy about this.
Yeah, well, I'm not Von Karma's stooge. If he's gonna stonewall my investigation, then I'm not gonna play by the book either. Can't let some pesky rules keep me from finding the truth. Now, can I, Mr. Edgeworth? Indeed. Thank you, Detective Bad.
Wow, I can't believe you won him over, Mr. E.
Well, I haven't the foggiest what you're all going on about, but here's to new friends, eh?
It's definitely nice to have the good detective on our side. That's for sure. All right, let's take a look at that photograph. Here. This is what Frost's room looked like right now.
Yikes! There's nothing left of his flavored ice sculptures but puddles.
The floor appears to be completely covered in a pale blue liquid. I should compare this with the photo I just borrowed from Miss Bound. I assume that the unplugged power cord has something to do with all this? Yeah, once that was out of the socket, the display case has lost power, and up the temperature went.
Looks like they were all connected to the same power strip.
Do you have any idea when it was unplugged? Nope, still working on that.
Those sculptures were beautiful. What a waste.
You can say that again. I should have taken a few more bites out of them while I had the chance.
So they tasted good?
Did they ever? I've never tried ices so scrumptious in all my life.
Really? Man, I wish I could have had a bite.
Well, scrumptious except for the salty bit, of course. That was unbearable.
The salty bit?
It's in the other photo you got there. This bit, the harpy thing.
Gemini's lyre.
Wait, that's why it had no strings? Because you ate them?
I didn't eat that much, you cheeky little devil. I told you. It was horrible and salty.
It's interesting that only one particular part of this one particular sculpture tasted different from the rest. And could somebody other than Miss Scone really be responsible for eating the rest of the string? Did you notice anything else, Miss Scone?
Come to think of it, I did. There was a funny little mark on Chillywink's work. It was 2 little letters. Let me see if I can draw it for you. There we go. Yes, it looked just like that.
It's almost like a signature or something. Wait.
I just knew Mr. Frost wouldn't have made that harp without strings. He's not the type to skip an important detail like that.
I hope you don't mind me asking, Miss Bound, but are you certain you didn't know Mr. Frost particularly well?
What? No, I barely knew him. I swear.
Is that so? You certainly seem to have some strong opinions about his attitude towards his work.
No, I just... The sculptures were so carefully made, I didn't think he'd miss something so important.
I'm sorry, but I don't believe you. You have a more personal connection to his work than that.
What makes you say that?
I have an item of evidence that appears to have been one of Mr. Frost's possessions, and it shares a key feature with another piece of evidence.
Well, I won't know what you're talking about if you don't share. So what are these 2 pieces of evidence of yours?
Which 2 items point to Mr. Frost? This is the first. The seal.
Take that!
And now, the second. Before that, though, let us investigate it. Right here.
Look, there's something stamped on the bottom. It says PH.
I suppose that must be Paul Halik's pottery mark. Those are his initials, after all. Miss Bound said she is a big fan of his work.
His initials, huh? So if I'd made it, it would say EF?
Perhaps you should practice by initializing your personal belongings first. Yep. Now let's submit it.
Take that!
Miss Scone found 2 letters carved in the Mr. Frost ice sculptures. I think they were a signature of sorts. After all, it's not unusual for an artist to initial their work.
I guess not. That's right, dear. It's just like you said. Chillywink statues have the letters PH carved in them, plain as day.
PH? Shouldn't it be AF? You'd think so, but take a look at this. It's the seal we found at the crime scene. It seems reasonable to assume that it fell from Mr. Frost's pocket, and when pressed into the surface of an item, it would leave behind the letters PH. The same pottery mark we see imprinted on the bottom of the items in the tea set. The same pottery mark? We have already established that the tea set is the work of the sculptor, Paul Halik. From that, we can assume that these same letters would mark any item out as a piece of his work. A fact of which you are well aware, correct, Miss Bound?
Well, yes. I know that he always marks his works with his initials like that. He's never revealed his true identity in public, so it's the only way to know his works are truly his.
You mean Paul Halik was... That's right, Detective. Artie Frost had another identity. He was no ordinary confectioner, at least, as far as Miss Bound was concerned. For you see, Mr. Frost was in fact a famed sculptor. Mr. Frost was in fact none other than famed sculptor Paul Halik.
What? Mr. Frost and Paul Halik were the same person?
But it's not like the mark's hard to copy, though. Anyone who's seen it could fake being him with it. Not exactly conclusive proof that Frost was who you say he was. It was proof enough for Miss Bound. What matters is that she believed it. His true identity will have to be investigated by the good people of the precinct. Alright, I'll have the boys look into it.
I should have known I couldn't hide it from you, Mr. Edgeworth.
So you admit it. You were aware of who Mr. Frost really was.
I was... When I discovered his body, I saw the seal you found. Don't ask me how, but I just knew straight away that he was my dear Paul Halik. Imagine, his entries in a confectionery contest were his final legacy. A great man like that.
And, be honest, did you enter Mr. Frost's room at any point?
What? Why are you asking me that?
The photograph of Mr. Frost's room. I like to know when it was taken.
Oh, I must have gotten it mixed up with the one Samson took during the judging.
Objection!
I'm afraid I find that rather hard to believe. You said yourself that the camera ran out of film during the judging, and that you've had charge of the camera since before Mr. Tangaroa had the chance to visit Mr. Frost's room. That's how you were able to take that picture when you discovered Mr. Frost's body.
I suppose so.
This suggests that you took only 2 pictures with the new film. One of Mr. Frost's body and one of his room. But I have a piece of evidence that says otherwise.
You do?
Which piece of evidence contradicts the assumption that Miss Bound only took 2 pictures? The instant camera.
Take that!
The camera?
You gave the picture of the body to the police, and the picture of Mr. Frost's room to me.
Oh, and you gave us that picture you took of me and Mr. Edgeworth, too.
3 photographs in total, and yet the film cartridge in this camera only has 3 exposures remaining, out of a total of 20. You took more pictures, and I want to know what of. I'll need to see all the photos you took. Perhaps then we'll finally learn what you were really up to.
I'm so sorry. I confess, I've been lying to you.
Huh? These are all shots of Frost's room.
I'm so sorry.
Looks like she took pictures of his work from every possible angle.
And when they were taken, the ice still hadn't melted yet. Wait, don't tell me. It was you?
It was. At least, I'm pretty sure it was.
You are? Why?
Well, you see, I'm a huge fan of Mr. Mr. Halik's work, as you know. I was petrified that they might be ruined, what with the investigation that was going on and everything. So I thought I should at least capture the sculptures on film for posterity.
And? How did that make them melt?
I think perhaps I was so intent on getting the perfect photographs that I might have tripped over the power cord without noticing.
By mistake? Are you sure?
I didn't notice it at the time, but, well, how could I have been so careless as to cause the loss of his final masterpieces?
That seems a little convenient to me. I'm not sure I believe it, but I'm not in a position to refute it either.
I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to cause any trouble.
Please, don't worry about it. The important thing is that you told us the truth.
What he said. No hard feelings, Miss Bound.
Thank you.
Mr. Edgeworth, picture's yours. Hope it helps. Manfred. Are you infernal nuisances still here? You don't know when to give up. Linger for as long as you like. The answer is still the same. You are not part of this investigation. Whether we're part of it or not, we'll uncover the truth nonetheless. It seems you don't know when to shut up either, but I commend you on your stubbornness.
Mr. von Karma, I'm afraid I'm the one responsible for Mr. Frost's work melting.
What? What is the meaning of this?
I'm so sorry. And to you, Mr. Gusto.
No concern of mine. I didn't do anything, and Mr. von Karma agrees. Nothing at all, Mr. Gusto? You went into Mr. Frost's room, didn't you? Perhaps you could tell us why. Sure, I was... Silence! You are not to give the attorney even the tiniest shred of information. Judy Bound, you're coming with me. I have reason to believe that you are an accomplice of the accused, Samson Tangaroa.
No,
I will be interrogating you personally, so you had better get your story in order.
I understand.
Wait, please! I'm not done questioning her myself. And you think I care because... Bad Gusto. And you, Scone. I have questions for all of you, and I expect answers. Fine by me.
Oh, you could at least ask nicely, mannequins.
He took literally everyone with him.
Indeed. Well, I suppose that means there's little point in us hanging around either. Perhaps it's time we get going anyway. It is rather late. I hope the snow has let up.
You're right. Home time. Guess my stomach's in agreement, too.
All right, let's go grab a burger. Before my own stomach starts grumbling, too.
Sounds good to me. Let's eat up and rest up. We'll need to be fighting fit for tomorrow.
We will indeed. And our first port of call will be with Mr. Tangaroa. Not a long case, to say the least, but at least it's something. So yeah, that is it for this part of Ace Attorney Investigations 2 Prosecutor's Gambit. If you enjoyed this, like, comment, share, subscribe, and click the bell. I will see you then. This is MegamanNG signing off. Peace out. Product provided by CAPCOM.